guys, it's Lori from Wild Pony Designs. Thanks for joining. We're going to have fun today making this great bag. It's called the Zynah. I think that's how you pronounce it. From Kaur Threads, K-A-U-R. This is a great bag. I'm going to make another one as soon as I've done with this one. I'm going to make one out of leather, I think. It has a great front pocket with a zipper, which I have never done before. I've done this in an olive marine vinyl, which I got from Big Z Fabrics. My lining is batik from my stash. So inside we've got a zippered pocket, two slip pockets. We have a zippered closure on the top, and we also have this nice pocket with the magnet on the back. Tons of pockets will hold a ton of stuff. This is a very good size bag. It is 12.5 wide, 4 inches, no, 12.5 long that way, 4 inches this way, and about 9 inches tall. So it's a good size bag. So you can do a shoulder bag, a shoulder strap, or a crossbody. I did crossbody. We can adjust it. So this is what we're going to make today. So please join me, get a cup of coffee, and we'll have fun making this Zynah bag from Kaur Threads. Thanks everybody for joining. Okay, so these are the colors that I'm working with. There's a lot of prep in this video at the beginning, and I'd recommend that you do go through and do all the prep for the side connectors and all the interfacing on the back, because there's a lot, the zippers, all that stuff. So this is what I'm working with. I'm working with kind of an olivey green. Kind of looks like a brown, but it's a little bit more olive, like an olive brown vinyl that I got from, it's a marine vinyl that I got from Big Z. And I'm working with this matching batik, so I think those two colors go really, really good together. I'll try to get my lighting a little bit better here for you. So that's what I'm going to be working with today. And this batik's been in my stash, so who knows where. But this is from Big Z. This is their marine vinyl. I haven't worked with it a lot, but I'm really liking it. And it fits the interfacing very well. It's not too thick, so you're not struggling with really, really thick vinyl. But it does have a nice, I've got the interfacing on there, you can see it has a nice drape to it, so it's pretty good. So we're going to start with the front, kind of, this bag is really interesting because it has a front zipper pocket, so that's what we're going to start with. As soon as I find the piece that I had marked, here it is here. We're going to start, now I'm going to be referring to the pattern a lot, because like guys, I haven't done this before, so you're coming along with me with a bag that I have not made before. I just love the look of it. So this is, we're going to be working on this interesting front pocket. So I put a little bit of double-sided tape on my zipper. And let's see. And then we're going to put this over top. This is just like making the front kind of pocket that goes behind. It's really quite interesting. I like the pattern right away when I saw it. I just want to check my seam allowances too. And actually, this is okay. Make sure my stitch length is right. Make sure I got a bobbin. Got all that. Make sure this is where it should be. Yep. So away we go. My first seam on the Zynah bag by Kaur Threads. We have my iron on because I'm working with batik. I can iron, which is kind of nice. Do this right already? Did I do it wrong already? Let's see if I did it right. So it should be closing that way, and it is, so that's good. Right side's up. I know it's kind of weird. Right side's up and center. Yep, so that's good. So now we're going to top stitch, but we're going to put our seam down towards the bottom. I'm going to I'm going to pop up and press this because I can. And iron on over here. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Now when I use batik, I find batik's kind of a little bit of a thicker fabric anyway. Of course I have a stash from my quilting days. But what I've done with the batik and what I do with most cottons is I starch it. I put the interfacing on and I starch it before or after, it doesn't really matter. And I find it just gives it a little more body than just a loose piece of cotton. So this is kind of, you can see it's kind of got a little bit of body to it. See that? And that's just starch, that's spray starch. That's all that is. Okay, we're going to top stitch underneath. I'm really not going to change my stitch length for this because it's really inside. Nobody will see it. I've put zipper tabs on the end of my zipper. That was kind of in the prep directions at the beginning. This is going to be a really cute bag. I hope you can, that's a good angle. I hope it is. Kind of see my machine and my workspace here. I'll just bring everything over when I'm done. So that's top stitched. Now we're going to, we've added our tag already. That was in the prep. So that's the front of the bag. It's going to be the front pocket. We've added that. I feel like I have to add something here. That's my stitches over there. Yep, that's right. That's right. Now we're going to take this, right sides together. I want to mark my centers. There it is there. Always mark your centers. Don't be like me. Don't forget to mark it, but I did remember to do it on this one. Now I haven't really done a lot of car threads before, so this is kind of a new pattern for me. I get my zipper out of the way. A zipper pull at least. But they look like really cool bags, and she had a sale on. I don't know if it's still on when I got this. It's probably not. By the time you guys see this, I'm sure it probably won't be. Again, this is all prepped according to her instructions. I have to make sure that my zipper is down out of the way. Let me just double check. I do not want to be sewing my zipper in this next step. Clipping the top. Yeah, see how the interfacing is a bit different, so she tells you to double check to make sure you're not accidentally doing here. You should be doing here, because that's going to follow a stitch line along the top. If I've marked it correctly, hopefully I have. I think I have. So we're going to do that. Shorter stitch length. I'm going to go keep it where it is because it's kind of small. Hold my seams. Hold my threads. Just creeping around this mark that we made in the prep. This is going to be the turning of our bag, so it's supposed to look good. You can see it good. Let me just tip that up just a little bit. This is kind of in the way. Sorry guys. Just trying to make it so you can see a little bit better. Curve. You want your curves to be good, because if they're not, they'll show for sure. Okay, we've done that. So as you can see how we've attach the front, and there's the zipper. We're going to attach another piece over there. I think we're going to trim this back now. Yep, we're going to take this out. We're going to trim the seam allowance. curve. So it just says along the curve, not the whole thing. And we're going to take the pinking shears, just cut a little bit out of these corners here so that we can turn it and it turns a bit better. Just in the curves. Okay, now we're going to turn it. It says almost to the stitch line. I wonder if I should go a little bit further. Maybe I'll go just a hair further. I hate to go too close. So now we're going to turn it right side out. We're going to press out our curves. I may take this back to the ironing board to give it a little steam. I'm trying to do my best not to have too much of the lining showing on the front. So I'm going to do my best to fold that to the back as best I can. I just go give it a little steam. Here, my iron, I should have brought it a little bit closer for you guys to see. Okay. I'm just going to clip that now because I really want it to stay. I'm going to clip it quite close to the edge to try to keep all the lining to the back. Probably using too many clips, but I really want that lining to stay in the back. And I'm clipping right close to the edge, so I'm trying to keep the clips right close to the lining to hold it in. I'll top stitch. I'll go really slow on the curves as well. I know it seems like a lot of clips for a silly little seam, but I really want that lining behind. Okay, so it's pretty good. I really have to make sure when I'm top stitching that the zipper is out of the way. Okay, I'll top stitch this. I'll increase my top stitch here a little bit at our regular top stitch of 1/8. I'm just going to go slow. Make sure I'm not catching my zipper. Take that curve nice and slow so you have a nice good curve. Back. That's what it looks like so far. Okay, so now we're going to take the other pocket panel piece. This is a bit weird. I haven't done this before, so we're going to find our centers. Did I do that already? Nope. Find my center. This seems just different than what we've ever done before. Now, has she got the zipper open? Yes, I think the zipper would be easier to sew on when it's open. I might put a little bit of, let me put a little bit of double-sided tape on the back there because I don't want it to slip. Always be careful when you're putting double-sided tape on the zipper. You don't want to pull and distort your zipper. You want to just lay the double-sided tape down, but not pull your zipper weird. You don't want wrinkly zippers. And there's my center on there. I'm going to turn it this way because I think it'll be easier to see. I'm just lining up my zipper. This is very different. I've never ever done a pocket like this before. And I need another piece after this. Hang on a minute. I need my front top panel. Front top panel. Front top panel. There it is. I need this next, so I'm just going to do that now. Because we're going to be doing it's very different. Okay, so I'm going to stitch that zipper that we just did onto the back pocket. Just basting. I know I have tape on there, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is really cool. I really like this idea. Okay, so I've pasted my zipper on, and now we're going to take this other piece here, top panel. We're going to attach that, but we're not going to attach, we have to be careful to pull everything out of the way. This is where I'm going to unzip it. I should have my centers marked on there. Do I have my center? Yeah, I do. So we're going to attach it along the top of the zipper. My zipper pull is really quite close to the edge there, so I have to be careful. So see what I'm doing is I'm folding the front that we just did out of the way so that just the zipper is exposed. So this, we're not sewing this part, we're just sewing it onto our zipper. Does that make sense? I'll show you up close. Let me get this clipped and I'll show you up close. Okay, so here we go. See how now you can see it a little bit better. See how I've clipped it to the zipper. So here's my front panel. When it comes together, it'll look like one piece, but there'll be a zipper pocket in between. It's very different, very different. Get my zipper pull all the way in. It's already stuck in there. Come on, zipper pull. You need to be out of the way. There we go. I'm gonna make sure I clip this well because I don't want it shifting. So I'm pulling the front out of the way. Oops, let's drop down a bit there. Clipping, clipping. Okay, let me just check to see. Okay, now we're going to sew, making sure that we don't catch any of this front panel that we just did before in there. So it's all pushed out of the way, and we're going to sew along the top of the single knots in the pattern. Coming to my zipper pull. I want to get that out of the way. It'd be really easy to catch your pull in that, especially if you have a big pull on. I kind of stuck with a smaller pull. I didn't want it to be in the way. Look at that. That's going to be really neat. Look at that. So there's a zipper, and we're going to bring this up. So there's like a zipper pocket. I don't know if you can see it. Between the two pieces. You see that? That is so neat. I like that idea. We lined up good? Pretty much. Let's see what the next step is. No, I think we're just going to do, what are we doing? Lift all the panels away from the second front panel. So we're just down to the zipper. Okay, and then we're going to top stitch a long zipper. Let me give that a little press. Let me just check which way the seam should be going. Turn the seam towards the second front. So the seam allowances go down towards here. Okay. Watch your zipper pull. Get it out of the way if you have to. That looks good. That looks good. Done our top stitching. There's nothing along that zipper there, but this is not going to show because we're going to bring this up. I don't think we have to top stitch along there. Nope, we don't. Okay, now match up the seams. Match up that seam. Mine's a little bit off. I have to make sure I'm not. Oh, that's the wrong seam. I think I have to match it up to that seam. Check the seams. So I'm matching up the seams where the lining is. Match up that seam. Okay, so it kind of looks like this. Check your size. Mine's a little bit off. It's a little bit small. Okay, that's there. I'm just adjusting it so it's at the right length according to her pattern. That one's off a lot. I don't know why. And we have this pocket in here. Double check. That one's off just a hair. Maybe it's my zipper pull. Yeah, where's my zipper pull? Okay, now we're supposed to lift the bottom. So the bottom edge of the panels, okay? supposed to baste down the sides. Just double check on that. D, yep. There's our front panel. This great pocket in there. I love that. Oh, I missed the side seams there. I'll catch those up when I put it together. Missed it a little bit on the pocket there. See that? That's okay. It'll get caught up in the construction because the seam allowance is bigger than that. I think. Let me just double check to make sure before I go any further. Make sure my seam allowance is going to catch that. Yep, it is. We don't holes on our pocket. Yeah, it'll be fine. So that is the front. I like that. It's very cool. Very good bag. Okay, let me go grab the pieces for the next one and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to do the back pocket. So I've got my back, I've already installed my snap on the back pocket panel piece. Back pocket lining. And we have this piece here, which is the back pocket top. Back pocket panel. Okay, so we're going to attach these two here. We're going to attach the magnet end to the top of this because we're going to be doing some fancy. So this is the top. You can see where the interfacing is. This is the bottom. This is the top. It says to add it to the top. So that's what we're going to do. My phone is ringing, but I can't answer it right now because I'm filming. I'm just double checking on this because there's a couple of pieces there. I don't want to get them messed up, so we're going to do that. We're going to sew along the top of that. We're going to turn these. We're going to turn them. And we're going to top stitch. Again, I'm going to try and keep my lining as much as possible behind. Rolling it behind. And top stitching. Okay, so we've top stitched. Magnets at the top there. So now we're going to turn it this way. It says so that the magnet's at the bottom. And here's our back pocket panel at the back. And now we're going to take the next top back panel. And we're going to, the top piece, this is the back top. And we're going to center that on there. Again, this is techniques I haven't done before. And you can tell again which is the top. Do I have this going the right way? I should have it going. No, I should have it going this way, so that this is the gets narrower at the top. Good thing I checked. So I'm going to line that up. And somewhere in here I'll have to go put a snap in. Not a snap, a magnet. I'm going to do that. Just going to double check. Right, not the top edge. Flipping the bottom edge. So that's the bottom. Sew it on. So basically, we're going to have one big long piece. These are really cool. Change my seam allowance. Get that out of the way. Make sure I don't sew it down. Okay, we've done that. We're going to lift it up and turn the seam allowances towards the back pocket lining, so seam allowances to go towards the bottom. And we're going to top stitch on the lining. Again, I'm going to just keep my seam allowance the same here. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I've done that. Now we're going to mark a line down. Somehow we're going to be doing this with it. I have a feeling. Yeah, it's going to be up here. So where am I marking a line down? Back top panel. Okay. Into the pattern. Oh, we're going to fold that up. Am I marking it on which side? Kind of marking it on this side, I think, on the right side. I'm using something that's erasable, so this is good. These silver pins will work for that. I'm not going to mark the whole thing. I'm just going to make some little marks along the way. That way I don't have to move the whole thing. Okay, now we're going to bring this up to that line, I do believe. Oh, that's going to look nice. I can see where my other snap is going. So it should again be 9.5. It's a little bit short, so I'm just going to pull it up just a hair. So it's going to be just a little bit below my marks. It's more important that the piece is the right size. So once I got to the right size, you can see it was just a hair below my marks. Can you see that? It's just a little bit below, but awfully close. So I'm just making sure it's even. Even on that side, and definitely even on that side. So now we're going to install that other snap. So I have the male snap in, so what I can do is sometimes I just draw right on the snap, but we're gonna give it a little push. We should be able to see where it goes in there. Yep, I can see it. So now what I can do is I can go and install the other half of that snap. Let me go, I'll come back after I've done that because I have to leave to get my snap through over in another area. So hang on just a sec. So there's my snap. I think maybe, I don't know if you were still running when I was doing that anyway. So I'm going to snap my snap. I put it on, put a little piece of Decavil. This is actually Peltex that I have in the back. Re-snap it, and then re-clip it. Okay, so this is kind of like a back pocket. Okay, that's good. Now I think we sew down the sides. Yep, face the side seams. Okay, there's my side seams done. And then we'll have this great back pocket. The snaps lined up perfectly that way. I'm just going to get a little cloth and take my marks off now. What's on my mind? It's easier to do it when they're kind of damp still than if you wait too long. There. See, I just took those right off. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, now we're going to work on the side panels. Let me go grab all of the things I need for those, and I will be right back. Okay, now we're going to do the side hidden connector. So we've got our side piece. That's a bit of garbage. We've got our prep work that we did at the beginning with a pattern piece to cut out this little tab here. Got our connector, and we have our D-ring or rectangle ring or whatever it is that you're using. I am using this triangle ring today. So we're going to insert, we're going to fold that little tab to the back. Okay, we're going to insert our connector in, push it down. There's a little mark that we made on the pattern about halfway. Push it down, and then we're going to go to this side and we're going to sew on the back on this top part here, very close to where the cut is for the little tab. So this will be a hidden connector. We don't want to sew beyond the connector. We don't want stitches to go beyond. We're just sewing right close. Okay. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We've sewn there's a little tab underneath. We've put that in. We've sewn just above. Okay, so this is what it looks like on this side. Seam here. This is the back. This is the back side of the connector. Okay, now we're going to put our key ring on, or whatever it is that you're using, and we're going to take the other side of that. We're going to poke it through the bottom and out the back. And this is where we're going to get it as tight as we want, not too tight that we don't pull it out, the stitches from the other side, just tight enough that the triangle ring fits in there just in, it's not really loose and floppy. Okay, so this is what it looks like from the back now. We have these two pieces. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip it all together, and we're going to sew through all the layers right at the edge of that tab, right there where the cut is. So we're not going beyond like before, just stay on the connectors. Just checking to make sure I haven't re-pulled it. Yep, looks good. Tab in the air. Same thing. Make sure you're on the connectors. My connector is very close there to that. I'm going to loosen it just a little bit. It's a bit too tight. My needle's hitting it, so I don't want that. There we go. That's better. You could feel the machine hitting it. I'm just going to put my needle in manual so I can see where it is there. Okay, now I'm folding it back. This is kind of what we have now. And there's our hidden connector. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go put a rivet in that, and I'll be right back as soon as I do that. Okay, that's what we should have now. We have install our rivets. You do the exact same thing to the other one. Here on the back you can see I've trimmed one, and I have it. This is the one I just did, so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim away some of that excess. I don't think we need all that there. Okay, and those are our side connectors. Side hidden connectors with my triangle rings that I'm going to clip my crossbody strap onto, and that's what they look like. Okay, let's see what the next step is. It's going to have us work on the lining. So that's what we're going to do. Let me go get all of my lining pieces together and see what the next step is, and I'll be right back. So now we're going to be working on the exterior, putting the exterior together. So I'm following these instructions. We did our side, so now I'm following the instructions, and we're going to mark down from the top a quarter inch, and we're going to come in an inch on either side, and then we're going to mark a line on the bottom. Dry out if I don't. I hope I'm on the right piece here. Let me just double check. This is the front. This is the back. No, that's the front. And we're going to mark along the bottom. And then we're going to connect. Make sure the zipper pull is in the middle. We're going to connect these lines that we just made. So from that corner, I'm assuming up to there. Not that easy to do from here. Lumpy zippers. Let me do it from this side. Okay, so from down there to up there. On this side. From there to there. Okay, so I've drawn these side lines down here. Double check. And these side panels, which are these. And we're going to place the side panel along there. Quarter-inch line. Okay, that does that. Is that right? Am I doing this on the right side? No, I think I have to draw a line. Hang on a second. I think I have to go get the pattern piece. Okay, so I'm using my piece, my pattern piece here. So I'm just lining it up with the line that we drew along the edge that we drew on the side. It should be along the top, straight along the top. Trace the top corner shape onto the front panel. Okay. Top corner shape. So this panel piece has a little bit of a curve to it. Okay. Repeat to the other side. Lining that with the top. Following our lines down the side and doing our curve. You can kind of see that now. Better. See how it comes up and in. So that's what I did. That's what I did. Repeat on the side. So a 1/4 inch in from the slanted lines on the side. Okay, we can do that. I'm going to do that so it keeps the panels. We're gonna cut all this. So, oh boy. Make sure we got it right. So we're going to sew in this line that we just drew. I'll do that before it fades away. Just 1/8 of an inch inside that line. Just so it holds, so that when we cut it, nothing comes apart. This way. Okay, so it's kind of what it looks like on the front. We've drawn these lines. Okay, now we're going to cut, I do believe. Yes, we are. We're going to cut out the line. Just going to double check here before I cut my piece. Little J, trim the top, trim the top. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's going to give us that cute shape, see that? And I think we're supposed to trim the top. Yes, we are. Make sure that we cut the corner shape. So the corner's going to kind of come up a little bit and then back into our 1/4 inch line. Trimming carefully. So see how we've cut a little bit up, oh, I'll hold it there so you can see it a little bit better. See how we've done those corners? They're a little bit in the air. That's what we've done. It's going to be a great shape when it's done. I'm really liking it. See, in that little, it's sewn up the pockets on both sides. Okay, that's perfect. Probably have to do the same to the back, I would imagine. No, we're going to do our base. So I've prepared the base just like you would normally do a base. Just put the heavy stuff on, put my bag feet in, and got the base. So now we're going to mark our seam allowances. I think it's handy. It says mark it all the way around. I guess it's just a visual, so it's much easier to do. All sides. It's good to mark seam allowances sometimes, then there's no guesswork. I'm just going to do that all the way around. Sometimes the little things that we do to it just makes the bag better. Just take a little bit of time. Get rid of that piece. Mark these. Same 3/8. That's one. That's two. That one's done. Those are done. Now we're going to sew the sides on. Lining at the top. Carefully lining up the sides. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think that's good. Stop sewing it. So we start at the top, but we stop down at the bottom, so we don't go all the way to the bottom. Starting at the top. Stopping at our mark. Do that to the other side. It says to sew from the top, so I don't know if it matters. I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll just sew from this side. From our mark, not from the bottom. Sure my zipper pulls in the middle. Yep. And zipper pulls here in the middle of the bag. These out of the way. Okay, that's good. That's what we have so far. I think I'm going to do an extra row of stabilizing stitches on this, just inside where I just sewed. Show on the outside, but it just adds a little bit of extra strength on the seams here so they don't pull. So it's just on the inside. It's not making it any smaller. Just gives it a little bit of extra strength. You don't have to go all the way to the top either. You can go a little bit down so you can open your seams. Okay, let me have a little look. Now we're going to do the same thing for the back panel. I have to trim. I guess I have to do the trimming. Do I have to trim on this one? I don't think I do. Let me just double check. Yes, we have to do the trimming on the back panel as well. So let me do the trimming like I did before, and we'll get right back to that. Okay, I did the same thing to the back panel that we did to this piece. Now we're going to attach our sides over here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 2 rows of supporting stitches. So just the main one and then one beside it. my threads there. I could feel it. Don't go all the way to the end. I almost did. To pick a few out. See, it's easy to forget to do that. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to do come in again and do a little extra stitch. That's one side. Trim up those threads, and we'll go do the other side. Same thing, don't sew all the way down. Remind myself. I have my heat on in my room today because it's kind of cold here. No, I think it's too warm. It is the evening, but because I'm kind of in the basement, my floor actually gets quite cold. So, okay, don't sew all the way to the bottom. Just reminding myself. Low bobbin. Okay, that's what we've got so far. We can probably do the base now. Base, let's see, yep. So we've marked our centers on all these pieces. So I have, yep, I have centers there, yep, I do have my centers. So that's good, don't forget, because that's very helpful when you have your centers marked. Sorry, I have to plug my phone in. You still there? Yep, I'm getting a low battery. I'm plugged in now. If I die, I'll have to come back after I've charged my phone. Okay, we're sewing on our mark that we made, stopping at the edges, not going all the way through. Just double checking. We're doing the long sides first. I'm going to put one more clip in there. Okay, we've got our clip and we're starting at our corner that we marked. Just making sure that it's, I think got a feel where we're supposed to start there. Right in the corner. It's sewing along our line. Now we're going to do the other long side. Flipping as I go here. I do like this vinyl, it's turning out very nice. It's the first time I've used this marine vinyl, like I mentioned before. I'm quite happy with it, actually. Quite happy. It's not stretchy, has a good feel. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. Exactly the same, starting and stopping at our little corner there. Feels good. I'm going to put my needle down so I catch it right to where I want to. Good. Perfect. Sides, let me see if this sides are the same. This should be fairly easy to do. If you don't like clips, if your vinyl is slippery, if you're using cotton and it's just not holding with the clips, this is a good place for you to use staples. Staples will work here too. Oops, I'm getting my little charger cord caught. Okay, that's one side left. It doesn't really matter which side you sew from the top or the bottom, whatever is easier. Just making sure it's all lined up. Like I said, use staples if you need to. Squishing everything out of the way. Oops, see, I don't like the way. The final one is kind of the one that's going to give, if you're going to have problems, it's going to be with that. Maybe I should sew it from this side. Maybe it would be easier. Let's turn my clips around. If I don't like it, maybe I'll use these ones. These ones are a little bit stiffer. I have so many different kind of clips for so many things. These are those little metal ones. They're kind of cute, but they're very small, and my hands don't like them sometimes, but they do have a good grip to them. So let me go with these ones. Okay. Again, put your needle down right in your corner. You can feel it. Take my thread. Yeah, these clips hold pretty good. They're actually small enough I can actually sew. If I put them just right, I can sew just right past them without having to remove them. Okay, there's my bottom. The peek inside. You guys won't be able to see it yet, but I'll see. Oh, it looks good. Oh man, this is a fabulous bag, I must say. So now we have to do some trimming. She wants us to trim the corners at the base. So we're just going to take a little bit of bulk off those corners, which is normal. Turns better that way. Don't cut into your stitches. And we're going to trim a little bit up the edge, but not at the top. We're just going to go down the sides, just to get rid of some of the bulk. I'm going to butterfly our seams open at the top. That's why we don't do the very top. So I'm just cutting in just a little bit. I don't know if I should. I'm trying to decide whether or not I should do a drop-in lining. If I do that, I'll have to decide, mark my top here. I'll see what the, I don't have to worry about that until the very end. Okay, sides and bottom seam, so we're going to trim the bottom too. This gives it a nicer finish if it's not so bulky. Pretty neat there. This side. Oh, I didn't sew the extra seam down that side like I wanted to. I can maybe do, see, I forgot to do my second seam. I might be able to squeeze a little bit in. I might be able to do some now before I go any further. See, you can forget things. I can do it. I can do it. There we go. There we go. I think that might kind of be our exterior finish. I wonder if we turn it here. You can see our surprises. No, let me go on to the lining. So let me get all my lining pieces together and we'll be back. Okay, now we're going to work on the elements of the lining. The lining pocket's got a zippered slip pocket, so we're going to do that. Let's see if I can get a little bit better on the lighting there. So I've got my zipper overlay sewed around the top, cut out the hole in the back, just the same way we do them always. And now I'm going to work on the pocket. I'm going to attach the zipper right sides up. I'm going to put some double-sided tape because I think it holds it just a bit nicer. That way you don't get wonky zippers. I'll put my zipper pull on after. Should be easy enough to do. Okay, I'm just laying that along the top. Giving that a good sew, can you see? Oh, and I'm out of thread. I knew I was getting close. Guys, I always keep these little baby hair elastics around my spools. Keeps them from unraveling when they're on my machine. They come in the, you can get them in the baby department. I love them. They're cheap, cheap, cheap. Oops, there was my bobbin on the floor. Why doesn't that surprise me? And I found it. I'm gonna fix it now, it's a mess. It's a mess. The hazards of sewing. Let's try that again. Okay. Scrap through. Make sure it is okay. sometimes. I'd rather, if I'm going to have a problem, it's on there and not on my project. Okay, let's sew that again. All over. And then I'm going to fold it open and top stitch the edge down. And that keeps the zipper flat. It's much easier to install in the zipper overlay if the zipper's flat. Okay, see how that looks? I've just made it flat, so it basically looks like the wrong side. Right side, wrong side. I'm going to do it again to this next piece. Now I've decided I'm going to do a drop-in lining on this one, so I don't have to worry about keeping a hole in the bottom of my zipper. Right here, I just want to make sure I line up my pieces of my lining pocket so that they're even. It needs to come down just a bit. Get rid of my fluffy ends. Put on my zipper pull. Perfect. Perfect the first time. I like that. Okay, so there's our zipper pull on. And now we're going to take our lining piece with the overlay. We're going to put some tape around it. This is going to hold the zipper in place when we put it in. Get my zipper jig from Garth over at Myth Leather. We're having the zipper going that way to my left, and I'm going to center this as best I can. Looks pretty good actually right now. Looks pretty good. I want to make sure that my pocket also is even, so it needs to go in my pocket. See, my pocket's over this way further than it is over here. I want this piece to go that way a little bit more, so I'm going to pull that up a bit. Not only does it need to be centered that way, but it needs to be centered this way too. That looks better. Now I have an even amount on either side of the overlay. And now I just have to get it centered. Again, just take your time. That's what the tape is for. You can relift it. Take my pull all the way to the end. Slide my zipper jig on there. Oh, that looks perfect. Perfect. Now I'm going to go around the inside of my overlay now and catch all the zipper. Just catch up to where we started, end in the same hole, and we'll pull our threads to the back. Okay, so I've sewn my zipper in. Check and make sure it all works good. And it does. And now we're going to go to the back. And I've trimmed off the bottom so that my pockets are even. And if you were turning the bag out of the pocket, you would just sew down the sides of this pocket and leave the bottom open. But because I'm going to do a drop in, I'm going to sew around the whole thing and close it off. Our first pocket all completed. Cute, very cute. Okay, now we're going to do the other piece. We're doing the slip pocket next. Got that up slightly started, not by much, just a little. Let me just double check my pattern. Oops. Yep, now we're going to do this one. So I folded in my, I've taken the pocket, the slip pocket piece, I folded in my edges according to the pattern. And now I do believe I'm going to sew over the top. Yep. You know, I think I have to piece, I think I have to cut a piece of contrast, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to go check. I might have forgot to cut that piece out. This is going to be our slip pocket. And let me just dig through my things here to see if I have a contrast piece. Is this it? Nope, that's zipper panels. I seem to be missing my contrast piece, so let me go cut that out and I'll be right back. Okay, here's my little contrast piece that's going to go on the top here, and it's going to be a raw edge because I'm just using the vinyl, but it's not a problem. This on here. I just had to take one on each side. I think it just says to do one, but I'm going to do two. I have lots of tape, so. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to put our quite close to the line, but not completely on the line because we want a little a little bit of a gap there to fold it over. So when we fold this over, the pieces line up. I'm going to line up that in first and I can see. There we go. Feels very good. We're going to top stitch away from that raw edge just about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, we're going to trim off the extras. I have this nice little trim. Now I should remember to put a tag in here now, because that's something I always forget to do. I wonder what tag I should put in. Let me go through my tags and see if there's one that jumps out at me. Let me see. I like that one. About my little, that one, let's see. Need to get these sorted. I think I'll use this one. It says, I'm handcrafted, take care of me. I like those ones. More of those. This is a cute one too. It says may contain cat hair. I'm really bad about remembering to put tags on the inside. Could spend half an hour trying to open up the bag. I could just rip it. Or cut it. There we go, let's do that. We'll spend the next 15 minutes trying to open a tiny little Ziploc bag. Okay, I'll remember to do that. Nothing I want to do is just trim just melt my threads. I don't want them to come undone. Guys, and I have a little list now. If you go to my Wild Pony Designs and Friends page, I've posted a list, an Amazon list of things I use. It's not like an influencer's list or anything like that. It's just some things that I use, like the lighters and some of my tools. And I'll try and remember to keep that updated all the time for you guys. If you can just go check it out, see what I like to use. My chairs are in there that I have in my room, and I should put some, the clips are there and things like that. Some of my fans, all sorts of little things that I use in there. So I think what I'll do, check what that's the front. I'm going to put a little bit of tape along the bottom. Hold it in place. I don't need a lot here, just a little bit. I could actually use pins on this if I wanted to, because it is cotton. Obviously you can't pin if it's vinyl. You can clip, but then some people have those So-Tight magnets. That would work too, but I can do a little bit of double-sided tape. That always works. I do that quite often with the vinyl as well. Just need a little. Okay, now we're going to measure up. I don't know if this ruler's big enough. It's not. This one. My center here, just give it a little squeeze. Tell me where it is. Because I've starched this, you can get a really good crease if you need it. Making sure it's where it should be. Okay, actually, you can go up just a hair. Perfect. I think I'll make a little center mark. Top and the bottom. There's my top. There's my bottom line. I'm using a heat erasable pen so I can just go over to the iron and get rid of it. It's not a problem. Get my little pieces of Decaville Heavy. I always like to support the corners of a pocket like this with a little bit of extra stabilizer. So I tuck these little pieces of Decaville Heavy right in the corners, like right up in here underneath, where I know it's going to be a little bit of pulling. Doesn't have to be much. I'll show you when that's done. So what I like to do is this. So we're going to sew all the way around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this piece right where I'm going to start, which would be about right there. Right, that's perfect. See, I almost forgot my label. I'll stick that over here. Organize it when I get there. Middle. Some people like to do, I think I'm going to do that too. I'm going to do two. So I'm going to go up and come back down. So I just want to go a hair over the line. Put that, oops, that should go underneath. Over one stitch and back down. That's it, just a little bit. See, and you can see where that Decaville is right on those stress points. Can you see that? There we go. That's better. Right on the stress points where the zipper pulls. So not, if it's too much hanging over, I just trim it. It just gives it that extra little support. Now you can put a rivet in there as well if you wanted to do a rivet. But that just helps it not pull through your fabric. And that's the other pocket. So that is this inside slip pocket. Now I'm just going to go and iron those marks away. See, just the very nice, just no marks. Okay, now I think we're working on the zipper placket. Yes, we are. Let me get my zipper pieces. And we'll just prepare our zipper like we normally do. Pinch and pull. We just bended our edges over. Just trying to look and see if they're even. And that one could use a little bit more. That's better. And I always pin these and then I sew them. Some people glue, some people sew them in. I'm just gonna sew up the edges a little bit. That works for me. I've just sewed those edges together. I'm going to take my lighter. I think we have to mark both sides of these. No, I'm not doing, I'm going to do a zipper end. The pattern goes in, talks about different zipper ends you can use. So we're going to do an inch from either end. You need to keep the lids on these, otherwise they dry out. I'm definitely going to do another one of these bags. I think I'm going to do it in leather, an all leather one. You these will be available on my website when I'm done with them, wildponydesigns.net. And I have some great hardware and some fun things, EVA foam and lots of snaps and things like that. I'm going to start carrying some more dies for rivets and magnets. But if you haven't checked out my website, go do that, wildponies.net, wildponydesigns.net. Some fun stuff on there. These bags will be on there too. And we're going to turn our ends in down to that mark we just made. This is a pretty normal way of doing a zipper plackets. To talk about here. Okay, so we've got 2 lining pieces, 2 contrast pieces, my zipper. What does it say? We're going to make a little mark in. I'm not going to put my zipper, I'm actually going to separate my zipper because I can. I'm not worried about putting the pull on until later. We're going to make a little mark here. And we're going to get some more tape. Up to that mark and all the way along. Now, again, don't pull your tape here. You don't want to distort your vinyl. Just lay it down. Okay, we're going to take this piece here. I'm going to take this piece. And the piece that we have made the curled end on, we're going to line up to the mark that we just made. We're going to lay the zipper all the way along there. Well, they have you do that, and I'm just going to do it all in one. They have you stitch that down, but it's taped, so I'm just gonna do this. That way it'll all just be one seam. I'm gonna line up the placket all the way down. I'm gonna check to make sure that my placket, see how that's a little bit, it's not quite perfect there. Can you see that? So I'm gonna make adjustments so that it is. So I'm just going to open that up. And I'm just going to move it down and refold it so that it is perfect. Everything lines up, okay? I can almost do a 3/8 with this, just a little bit shy of 3/8. That's okay, it gets close to the zipper. I have a skinny foot on, so not a zipper foot. Okay. Now we're going to turn this line everything up. We're going to go all the way around. I actually might go with a little steam just to flatten it out a bit more. Actually, it's pretty good. This corner's off a little bit here. Looks okay. Now I'm going to start on the inside, and I'm going to sew all the way around. So I'm just going to give this cotton a bit of a press. I'm going to use my stiletto to make sure that my ends stay even and that they stay tucked in. I'm just pushing everything in with my stiletto. When you get to this end, I'm just tucking everything inside. Have half of our zipper placket. Now I'm going to go do the other half and I'll be right back. Okay, now I've got our zipper plackets on, so this is what our zipper plackets are going to look like when they're together. Okay, so we found the centers. We're going to take our lining pieces, find the top centers of the lining piece, and I'm going to put my zipper placket on this side first so that I know that my zippers are going in the right direction. So we find your centers on everything. That all on, and then we're going to take our top contrast, and there's a bottom, the wide part is the bottom, find your center. We're going to add that to this. You could base it first if you wanted to do, I don't mind doing everything all at once. Oops. Just to make sure everything's clipped in good. Do the same on this side, except our zipper will be going in the opposite direction. Again, I still don't have my zipper pulls on, but that's okay. We're going to do that at the end. Right sides together. Find that center. How's my ends looking? Looks good. And we're going to sew that on. Just get my pattern back up so I can just check my seam allowances. Sometimes they're a little bit different. Nope, same on this one, unless you're based. I'm just sewing everything together, so. And we're going to flip it up, make sure all the seams go down, and we're going to top stitch. Before I go any further, because I'm going to do a drop down lining, I'm going to make my marks for that while it's flat here. Let me grab my, see how much I'm turning it down here, and then I'll know. So this one I'm going to be just turning it down over the interfacing, and it's coming down about 1/4 of an inch, about 3/8. Yep. So if I turn this over 3/8, I'm going to make a little mark so my math skills are not good, but there we go. So that is about 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to make a mark. I better not use this pin, it'll go away. I better use this one. Okay. 3/4. Same on this one. It's just easier to do it now when it's flat than try to do it when it's already sewn together. Just going to double check. That's what I want. Yep, it's perfect. Okay, now I think we're going to sew these together. So we have two sides. We've got the side with the slip pocket, the spin reinforced, and we have the side with the zipper pocket, which if you're doing it by the pattern, this pocket would be open. We leave it opening in the bottom to turn the bag through, but because I'm doing a drop-in, I don't have to do that. Now we're just, I think we're going to be doing a little trimming. I think we're going to be doing trimming here too. Let me just read this so I get this right. Okay, we're sewing it, starting at 3 and increasing down to 5/8. Okay, so we're not trimming, we're just sewing. Okay, so we're increasing our stitch length at the bottom, which makes the lining a little bit smaller, which gives you a better fitting lining. So I'm just going to line up my edges, and I'm making sure that my seams are right there together. It's really important that the top is even if we're doing a turn down, and our top are level, like up here. Okay, we're going to start with the 3/8, and we're going to move down to a 5/8 along the bottom. And I'm going to back stitch really well because I don't want that to open while I'm sewing. I'm slowly going to increase the seam allowance until I hit that 5/8 mark. Good back stitch. Same over here. I'm going to start at 5/8. Let me clip it first to make sure I get my zipper tails in at least too. I'm going to tuck those in that pocket if I can. Clip so it's perfect up here. Looks good. Sometimes I like to clip across the top so it doesn't pull. Start at 5/8 and decrease to 3/8 because we're starting from the bottom on this side. Along the bottom, and we're going to trim these except for the top. I'm just going to trim. I'm going to trim a little bit off of here. I'm going to leave a little bit at the top. Yeah, it has you leaving the linings open, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to sew my bottom at 5/8 because that's what we want it to be at the bottom, and then I'll box my corners. Let me just double check now that I've done that. Yep, 5/8 along the bottom. That's what I figured. Now we're going to box the bottoms, and then all we have to do is put it together, and we'll be done. So I'm going to open my seams if I can. Let's put a little clip in there. And we're also going to box these at 5/8 as well, so same size. Just want to double check. Yep, 5/8. I could feel that wasn't quite right. There we go. Now we've got it open. Same on this side. Okay, there we have it. Our lining. Box bottom. Pockets, can you see on the inside there? Really pretty. So now I'm just going to put some tape around here, and I'm going to fold these down. I'm going to fold this one down so it matches, and then I'm going to go over to my other machine and we'll sew them together and it will be finished. I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm doing now. So now I've got everything, I've got my lining stuck in there. So I've turned down the top of my bag and I've turned down the top of my lining. So now what I've done is I'm tucking everything inside, but I'm going to run a little piece of double-sided tape across this because it's just, I don't know, I just think it holds it a bit better. So when I put my lining in and I line it up, it will stick. I'm just going to line up my centers as best I can. There's not really a center mark on here. This is a drop-in lining, so otherwise I'd be pulling it out the bottom. Okay, I'm going to line up this side, and I try to keep the lining just a hair underneath, so you can't, it doesn't really pop up. So just level or just a hair underneath, maybe like a stitch length underneath. So that's my sides. So now I'm going to go around, oops, re-stick that down again, and I'm going to attach all the way around here. Try and start in the middle if I can. And just work it all the way around. Just squeezing a little bit together with the tape. I did tape, lots of tape. Making sure everything lines up. This is the back of the bag. So you can't see how you can't quite see it. It's there, but it's just a fraction under. It'll line up very well, actually. It's perfect. Happy with that. So same thing over here. Just go around and press the two sides together. This is going to be the front, so I want this to look really, really good. So I kind of work from both sides. Don't want any wrinkles. If I find I've got just a little too much there, I'll just open it up and just rework it. Just rework it anywhere I need to. Just play with it until you get it right. Now when you get it flat, see that? So I'm going to put some clips in there, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go top stitch over at my cylinder arm machine, but I'm going to have to go and move all my threads, and that's really all that's left to do. I've made my strap. I just love this bag. It is so nice. I'm going to make more of these. I'm quite sure I am, but I do like the drop-in lining, which is different from the pattern. What could you do different? If you wanted to do different side connectors, you could on this one. If you didn't want to do these kind of side connectors, you could attach side connectors. I think my next one I may do a different color front panel, but this is really classy looking, I think, with the solid. But I may try something different there. Maybe I'll make a horse related one because, you know, wild pony designs and all. Okay, let me go and change all of my threads over to the other machine, and I'll bring you back on a different camera stand so I won't have to move you and you get seasick. Be back in a sec. Okay guys, I'm over at my other machine. I'm all threaded up and I've got it ready to top stitch, I hope. It's always the scariest part. I don't want to have any issues. So I'm going to go around. I kind of like to start at the back of the bag in case there's any problems with threading or something and it shows. I'd like to have it at the back. So here we go. Holding my threads, and I'm just going to go really slow because I want it to be even. I've got my zipper. My zipper's tucked away underneath. I'm trying to have just a really even top stitch. Just taking my time. Holding my tongue just right. Is that a good view? Can you see what I'm doing? I hope so. Okay, now I'm coming up to the front, so I want to be extra careful. Make sure everything's nice and even. That's why I don't mind having a an extra row of double-sided sticky tape in there to hold these two layers together, so that they don't shift when I'm trying to sew. Oops, let me get my zipper out of the way. So close. Oh, there we go. Tuck that back out of the way. Okay. So watching my foot, I guess I could use my drop-down seam guide, but my 1/8 is not going to show up on there anyway. So if it was bigger, I would use it, but not for this, because the edge of my foot is 1/8. Hoping I didn't catch my... No, I didn't. Perfect. Almost done. I'm going to try and stop in the exact same hole that we started in over here, so I can pull my threads through to the back. Again, just keep that zipper down and out of the way. Coming up to it now. The rest of it I'll do by hand. I'm sorry if I bumped the camera. I just want to make sure I get it exactly in that same hole. And I did. Nice long threads. And I'm in the habit of just taking my threads and tucking them out over here. So there it is. I'm going to move. It's beautiful. Okay, let me get rid of my threads here, and I will put the crossbody strap on, and I'll bring you back and give you a little show of what it looks like when it's done. Okay, see you in a bit. All right, guys, we finished her up. She's gorgeous. I love her. So there's my top stitching. I just went and put my zipper pull on, my zipper end, buried my stitches in between the layers, and put my crossbody strap on that I made earlier. The Zynah bag by Kaur Threads. I absolutely love it. Can you see that up close? It's a beautiful bag. Might be my new bag, as Barb would say. It's just a good size. It is about 12 inches by 4 inches wide by about 8 inches high. So it's not a huge bag, but it's definitely a good size bag. So I've got my slip pocket in there. I've got my zippered pocket in there. And if you guys haven't got this pattern, go get it. It's a cute bag. You won't be disappointed. It wasn't difficult to make at all. This front pocket was new for me. It was quite interesting, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So this is by Kaur Threads. Go get the pattern. You're not going to be disappointed. Thanks, guys, for watching. I do appreciate you spending some time with me today as I sew. Anytime is a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we can't wait to do the next one with you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.